Hey ladies, I hope you had a really good day. Today's going to be a training session a little bit different than usual because I'm not going live actually. This is a recording of video I did a couple weeks ago to make sure you're still going to be able to get the information. You're still going to be able to have a training. But right now I'm hoping so I should be actually in vacation. So to make sure you still got the information and I didn't have to deal with a crappy internet, trying to do a Zoom session with bad internet and not actually being able to give you the information. I thought the live video would be a better option. I'm still going to be looking out for all the comment inside of the group. So if you have any question, any comments, just put it down under this video and I will answer to all of them. So today's training is going to be about mindset. So we're going to have a mindset training and the big question is going to be why? So that's the question we're going to be answering today, okay? What we want to know is, what is your why, okay? So because having a goal and having a why is two different things. So it comes down to knowing your why, knowing why you are doing something, but also why it's important and why you cannot fail. So you have a goal in mind. Maybe you want to lose weight, maybe you want to build muscle mass, maybe you have more of a performance goal, but you do have a goal. But what we want to know is, why is that goal so important to you that you have no other option than to actually succeed? So why is that goal so important to you? And we have to really dig deep to find the real reason why you cannot fail. And that's when you're going to make sure that you're going to be able to shift your mindset and really stay committed. Okay, so having your why is different than having a goal. So to make sure that you will succeed, we need to be able to eliminate from your mind the idea that you're going to fail. So there's not any thinking about, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? It is going to work because you have no other option than to succeed. Because your goal is so important to you, you have to make sure that, what is the other option? What if it doesn't work out? What's going to happen? You have to make it look for you that the other option is just not acceptable. Okay? If you're trying to look at what's going to happen, let's say in 10 years, in 15 years, in 20 years, what's going to happen if you keep going down the same path, if you keep making the same decision, what is going to be the result? Because right now you are at one point because of the past decision you've made. So that brought you the result that you have today, the condition that you have today. If you want something different, you have to make different decisions. But what if you don't? What if you don't make different decisions? What's going to happen? I'm going to tell you right away, nothing will probably change, or maybe it's even going to get worse. So whatever is going to happen, you have to make sure that in your mind, this is not acceptable. This is something that will not happen. Then that's how you will make sure that you're not going to fail, because this will not be acceptable for you. This is not going to be a situation that you want to live. So you want to make sure that this situation will not happen. So you have no other option than to succeed, right? So why is that important for you? Why is this goal so important to you that there is no plan B? This is plan A. This is what we're doing, and we're doing it. There's no question about it. This is what we need to do to get there. So this is what I will do, okay? Take a look at what happened the last time that you tried to get healthier, that you tried to get fitter, that you tried to lose weight. What happened, okay? What happened? Did something happen that made you quit? Did something happen you got injured? What happened? We want to make sure that we're not going to make the same mistakes. So every mistake that happened last time, every challenges that you had that actually stopped you inside of your journey, we have to make sure it's not going to stop us again. We're already going to find solutions. We're already going to find tools, and we're going to be ready if that happened again. So that's a way to make your plan bulletproof. Because if you already know a challenge you're going to get, if you already know there's a problem coming your way, but you already have a solution, it's not a problem anymore. It's not a challenge anymore. You're ready, okay? So doing it this way will make sure you have a bulletproof plan and that you're going to get the result you want, okay? The only person that can decide to change, though, is yourself. So I can give you a lot of tools. I can help you out. I can find solution with you. You are the only person that can decide that your why is so important that there's no other option for you than to succeed. Okay. You are the only person that can decide to make the change, to be consistent, and just decide, well, I'm just going to do it no matter what. Because if you want to succeed, there has to be no plan B in your head. There has to be no other option for you than to succeed. So you have to decide. It all comes down to a decision that you're taking that is simply, I'm just not going to stop. I'm just not going to give up. Whatever happened, whatever challenges happen, I will find a solution. I will move forward and I will never stop. I will stay consistent. So it's not about putting blinds over your eyes, saying everything is going to be easy. That's not about saying it will be easy. It's about saying that no matter what happened, you will find a way. You will find a solution. You will not focus on the problem. You will not focus on the challenge. You will focus on finding a solution to make sure that you're getting better. So I can't do it for you, but I can help you out in finding solution. And if you are in a spot right now that you're having trouble finding solution, you're not sure what you should be doing, make sure to message me, because that's why I'm here for. I'm here to help you out. But at the end of the day, you have to make that decision for yourself. And you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your capacity and in the fact that this plan is going to work. So what would have happened? Like I said before, could you have stayed in that situation? Where the situation that you were in a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, a couple of years ago, maybe? Could you have stayed in that situation? The way you felt about your body, the way you felt inside, actually, mentally, physically, were you feeling overwhelmed? Were you feeling stressed? Were you feeling exhausted? Could you have stayed in that situation? Because if you decide to stop, if you decide that, yeah, this is not going to work for me, you're going to go back to that situation. You might go back to an even worse situation. We need to make sure that in your head, there's no other option, that this is not an acceptable outcome for you. So you have no other choice than to succeed, right? What would have happened if nothing had changed, okay? We need to understand that there's just no other possibility for you than to win, to actually have it, okay? If we can see that failing is not an option, then you will have 100% result all the time, okay? But if you are not certain about it, then you're always going to keep kind of a fallback option. And that's probably why you're always starting and then stopping and then starting and then stopping and then starting and stopping again, okay? We don't want to keep a safety net. What we want to have is create accountability with yourself, okay? Having accountability with yourself is what's going to make sure that you're going to stay more consistent. So I have a question for you. When no one is looking, are you following your own rule? So let's say I wasn't there. I wasn't checking on your workout. I wasn't checking on your nutrition. Would you still do it? Would you still actually get your protein target, your calorie target? Would you improve your diet? Would you actually do your workout? Would you do it? Do you do what you say you're going to do even when no one is looking at? Because what we want is create habits. So we want to create different habits for exercises. We want to create different habits for your sleep, your nutrition, all of that. But we want to create habits as well for your mindset. And when you say you're going to do something, but you don't end up doing it, then it creates actually a habit of being inconsistent. What we want is create a habit that every time you say you're going to do something, you're doing it. We want to create a habit of being consistent so that every time you're saying something, you're doing it, no matter what. Okay, we need to create that habit of commitment, that habit of success when you're trying to do certain things. So your workouts or your nutrition, we need to create that habit as well. It's going to make you more committed and more accountable. So we need to learn how to be impeccable. So impeccable with what you're saying, but also impeccable with what you're doing, no matter if someone is watching or not. And every time you're going to say, I'm doing something, and then you're doing it, you're also going to see that you're going to have so much more confidence coming from it. Okay, you're going to have more self-confidence, because if you're saying something and you're not doing it all the time, then your level of confidence in yourself is always going to become lower and lower and lower. Okay, we need to do the opposite. You can start small as well. It doesn't have to be big things, but set yourself some small goals and say, okay, this is what I'm doing, and do it all the time. And by setting yourself small goals and achieving them all the time, you're going to see your confidence is going to start to progressively grow. It's progressively going to get higher and higher, and it will be easier for you as well to become more consistent at harder tasks that you have to do. Okay. If you always follow through, you will see your confidence level getting actually boost. So it's going to boost your and increase your confidence level. Okay. What you are not doing is just as important as what you are doing. We're usually focusing on, I did this, I did this, I did this, but what you're not doing is also really important because it can break your confidence. So that's why it's really important to stay committed and to stay consistent. So how do we do that? How do we stay consistent? How can we always follow through? I'm just going to give you a couple tips that you can use, because sometimes we're, like I said, what you're not doing is just as important as what you are doing. So sometimes it's just a couple mistakes inside of your routine, inside of what you are doing, that makes it that you're not consistent. What I want to talk about is taking on too much, because that's something that I hear often with some ladies. They want to help everyone. I need to do this and this and this and this. I got this and this and this and this to do. And you're not a priority for yourself anymore. Suddenly you have so many things to do that you forget about yourself. And that's not what we want. We don't want to forget about ourselves. So you want to make sure that you're not taking on too much on your shoulder, okay? Saying yes, even though you want to help, even though it's important for other people, saying yes when you have already so many things over your shoulder is not helping you, okay? You're only saying yes if you know you will be able to get the task done. Otherwise, you start saying no. Sounds pretty easy. It can be hard to do at first, but it is so important for you to start saying no. And that's going to be making a big difference in your schedule, okay? So you always do what you say you will do, okay? So like I said before, if you say you're going to do something, you're going to have to do it. So you have to be careful about what you're saying. That's the first thing to do, okay? If you say something, you have to do it, okay? That's the new rule. If you say you're going to do something, we're doing it. So be careful about what you're saying you're going to have to do, okay? Because it comes down to respecting your word, but also respecting yourself. It's going to help you get more confidence and more commitment with your word and your action plan, okay? So when someone's asking you to do something, stop yourself, think about it, okay? Will I be able to follow through? And it's not just about following through. It's not just about saying, yeah, at the end of the day, like, I'm going to be able to make it, but under what condition? Are you going to be able to follow through, but you're going to be exhausted because you're not going to get enough sleep? Are you going to be overwhelmed, stressed out because you didn't have time for it, but you may make it anyway? Are you still going to do your workout with that? Or are you going to be able to follow through just because you skipped your workout, because you went to the drive-thru because you didn't have to cook because of that? You have to look at the big picture, okay? Will you be able to follow through without messing up your routine, without messing up your mental health, your physical health? Will you be able to follow through and still feel good about it? If you think that you will not be able to follow through, why do you say yes? If the answer is no, you're asking yourself, will I be able to follow through without skipping my workout, without being exhausted, without stressing out about it? Why would you say yes? You already know consciously that you would not be able to do it. So if you're saying yes, you're probably just going to end up exhausted, stressed out, having too much to take on your shoulder. You're only going to feel bad about yourself. You're only going to feel disappointed. And if you end up not being able to actually do the task, then you're just going to be disappointing others as well, okay? So it will make you feel overwhelmed and disappointed because you're setting yourself for failure. You already know you're having too much on your shoulder. You already know it's too much, but you're still saying yes, okay? So it's better to say no, to just say no, and actually having time for yourself, actually feeling good. And then when you're saying yes, it's because you know you're going to be able to do it. And then the next time that someone's asking you something, what they will know is that if you're saying yes, it's because you will do it. Because you're also creating that habit with that person. That person is going to say yes. Every time she's telling me she's doing something, she's doing it. Every time she's saying yes, she's doing it. Okay. So that brings more confidence into that relationship that you have with that person as well. So saying no is going to make a big difference for you not to feel overwhelmed, not to feel exhausted. You have to start saying no more often. It comes down to respecting yourself. Okay. So make sure that you are also a priority for you and that you're not just saying yes to everyone and letting you go back to the back seat basically and not having time for yourself. Also, something else that you can do to stay more committed is creating active discipline. And I want to make sure that you understand probably what is active discipline, because active discipline is not being a never failing super productivity machine. Like, it's not beating yourself up because you weren't perfect. We talked about it before. The guilt, the shame is not helping us in any way. It's just making you feel bad internally. Okay. So it's not about shame. It's not about guilt. It's not about expecting that there's never going to be any temptation ever again. Temptation will be there. It's just your response to it. It's your response to the triggers that will change. But temptations are always going to be there. It's not something rigid. It's not something inflexible. It's not something that can't change. And it doesn't mean also holding yourself to an impossible standard. And if you're listening to it right now, you probably know it already, if it's you or not. But if it's you, you probably know it. Do you have the tendency to put a standard so high for yourself that you always end up disappointing? Okay, that can happen. Setting a standard too high, and then you already know when you're setting up that standard that you're not going to be able to reach it. That comes down to something similar to what I just said. If you're saying yes, even though you're not going to, you know that you're not going to have time to do it, then you're setting yourself up for failure. So putting an impossible standard is setting yourself for failure as well. It's not helping us in any way. So active discipline is not all of this, okay? Active discipline is challenging your excuses. So every time you're telling yourself, let's say, oh, okay, I'm tired right now. I'm feeling maybe a little sick. I'm gonna skip my workout or things like that. You have to be able to challenge it. Okay, is it true? So we have to look at the fact. Is it a fact? Is it something that's really gonna get in the way of your workout? If you're tired a bit, are you not able to do your workout? Or even if you're tired, would you be actually able to do your workout? Probably. If you're feeling a little sick, would you still be able to do a couple of exercises? Would you still be able to do a workout? Maybe not at the same intensity, but you're still able to stay active? Probably. Is there another option? Is there another solution? What can you do to still stay active, to still do part of your workout, but to adapt it? Okay. So we all have certain excuses sometimes that come up, and it's usually similar excuses that come back all the time, and you have to know how to recognize them. You have to start to recognize them, understand them, and challenge them as well. Are they true? What is the fact to that excuses? And what can I do? What are my solutions? An active discipline comes with delayed gratification, okay? So this is something that's hard sometimes to do because we would all like to have the gratification all the time right now, but that's not how it works, okay? We have to keep in mind what's going to happen if we do the thing we say we were going to do, okay? So what is our delayed gratification? What is the end goal, okay? What is your end goal? Why is it so important to you? Why cannot you fail? Why is it so important to you that you don't have any plan B, that this is the only option and that you will have to succeed? Every time you're having an excuse, you're in a situation that you have to make a choice, ask yourself, is this choice bringing me closer or further from my goal? If it's bringing you closer to your goal, then you should do it. That's the option you need to choose. If it's bringing you further from your goal, then that's not the option you should choose, okay? I'm going to give you an example because sometimes I feel that a lot of people listen to their excuses because they see it more as self-care than excuses. And there's a big difference between self-care and listening to an excuses. So with this question, isn't bringing me closer or further from my goal? Let's say you're a bit tired today, not doing your workout. Is it getting you closer to your goal? No, it's not. Is it bringing me further from my goal? So I'm not going to be consistent. So it's not going to help me. Probably the next session, I'm going to have the same excuses coming up. So it's probably not helping me with consistency. It's not helping me burning more calories. It's not helping me increasing my cardio respiratory fitness. It's not helping me build muscle mass. So it's not helping me getting closer. It's actually helping me getting further from my goal. But if we're talking about self-care, it's not that you're just tired of it. It's not because you had a long day. It's because, let's say, you're having shoulder pain, you're having foot pain, you're having knee pain, you're having back pain. Then should you do the same workout and risk actually getting injured? Then you have to understand, what is this injury? Is it a chronic injury? Is it something actually coming on that could be getting worse? Then your best option, if that's the option, just send me a message and we'll figure it out together. There's probably still a couple of exercises. There's probably still a solution you can find. Instead of going for a run, you can go for a walk. You can use the elliptical. You can go on the bike. Instead of doing, let's say, repetition with a 25-pound, maybe you can just take the 10-pound. Maybe you can modify it, but that would be something that, let's say, like you're really having a really big back pain. Anything that you are doing is increasing it. Yes, that could be a good option to actually not do your workout, to do self-care, to do stretches, to rest. That would be a good option. So you have to make the good choice every time, to look at the fact, to analyze your excuses. Is it more of an excuse, or is it more about self-care? And understand what is the process, understand the choice you have to make, and make sure that you are making the right choices. Okay? To create more active discipline, it's easier if you start by focusing on small habits to stay consistent. If you're taking on big challenges right away, you might actually be able to do it, but it might be harder. If you're starting with small habits to stay consistent, then you're going to create that habit of being committed, of being consistent. You're going to have more confidence in yourself. And when you're actually going to get to the big habits, the big challenges, it's going to be easier for you because you already have that confidence that you can do it. So small habits and changes will compound as well to bring you big results. So it's easier to do it this way. And it's more about the habits than the outcome. You have to understand that at first, it's better to focus on creating the habit, even though they are small habits, making the change and being committed, than really having big outcomes. Okay? Because if you're, let's say, not creating the habits, but you're really, really, really focusing on the big challenges, and then you're getting lots of results in the first couple of weeks, but you haven't built the habits, you might not be able to sustain it on the long term. So that's why doing the small habits to stay consistent is usually bringing more results. And to create active discipline, the best thing you can do is transform it so it becomes identity-based. Okay? Identity-based habits are the habits that are easier to stay consistent with. And I'm just gonna basically tell you something that Mr. Darren Rose, I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but said. And when he was asked, like, why do you do this? Why do you wake up at 5 a.m. to go and do your workout? Why do you do this and this and this? What do you do to stay that consistent? He just answered basically, it's just what I do. I'm the type of person who, and you can use that, because why are you, it's just what I do. Why are you waking up and doing your workout right away? It's what I do. Why do you take the time to eat healthy? Because I'm the type of person who will take care of my body. I'm the type of person who will take care of myself. I'm the type of person who will work on myself to improve every day. So when you get your habit to become identity based, something you have to do for yourself, it becomes so much easier to stay consistent and to create active discipline. Something that is linked to active discipline and I make you do all the time is tracking. Why? Because if you don't track it, you won't know what you need to improve. So tracking is the best way to know what you need to get better, where you need to improve on. Because if something is not working out, but you are not tracking, then we won't know what's happening. Okay. Tracking is really important if you want to create active discipline. It does create a big habit. Okay. Always reassess. So it comes with tracking as well. If you get through a challenge, if you get through an obstacle, we need to reassess. This happened. We found solution. Okay, we got through it. Okay. What can we do now to get better? This happened. Okay. There's a reason why this problem happened. There's a reason why this challenge occurred. Okay. Why is that? Okay, so this is because of this. What can we do so it doesn't happen again? We reassess and then we improve to make a bulletproof plan. Okay, that's going to help you out to be more disciplined. And we talked about the standards before, but I just want to make sure that you understand that standards are also different from your goal. Like we said before, your why is not your goal, okay? But standards are also different. Your goal is the outcome you want to get, but standards are basically what you want to achieve right now to get to your goal. Are you holding yourself to a high standard right now? What are you willing to tolerate and what are you not willing to tolerate anymore? Okay, those are your standards. When you say, I'm not going to be tolerating, I'm basically not going to be able to tolerate anymore going to the drive-through, eating crappy food and feeling bad about myself after. Okay, this is just not something that's going to happen anymore. I'm not willing to tolerate it anymore. Okay, that becomes a standard. This is a new standard. From now on, we're going to be fueling our body properly to feel good. Okay, so you can set up standards in your life about anything, basically. All of the habits that you want to create, I encourage you to sit down and write down a standard. What would be the standards that you would like to have for this habit? Okay, so comes down to not having standards around what you will and you won't tolerate anymore. Because once you set up your standards, then it gets easier to create that active discipline because you know what will and what won't happen anymore. So what you can do after this live training right now, what I want you is to get very clear on what is your why. Okay, why is your goal so important to you? Why won't you fail? What is the reason why you can't have a plan B? You have to understand that it's important to say no. So look at those situations in your life. Start by stopping yourself, thinking about it, and say no if you need to, okay? You can also make a list of your most common excuses and challenge them, okay? Are they true? Are they not? Okay, what are the facts, okay? Look at the identity-based habit that you want to develop and make a list of the standard that you want to have for yourself. Okay, so that's going to be a lot of thinking on your part, but that's going to make sure that you can have a bulletproof plan and that we're not going to get a fallback option because there's no other option for us now than to succeed. So I hope you like this training right now. Even if it wasn't a live training, I'm still going to ask you to put down a comment down below just to make sure that everyone sees the video. So every time you're commenting, it pushes actually the training on the top actually of the group, so more people will be able to see it. If you get any question about the training, write them down in the comment section down below, and as soon as I'm going to be seeing it, I'm going to be able to answer you. And if there's anything more personal, you want to find more solution with me, just send me a message. Okay, take care of yourself, ladies. Bye bye.